Well, we had Eagles OTAs today. All the beat writers were there recording everything, jotting everything down, and really finding out who's starting, what's going on, and who are the Eagles favoring the most out of this roster and the back end of this roster. I kind of want to go through all of that with you guys, so let's get straight into it.
Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
Yo, what is going on, guys? So welcome. We are here finally. Beat writers are at Eagles OTAs. We're seeing everything. We're hearing all the reports of what's going on. And there's a lot of exciting things to really talk about. And obviously, if I missed anything, because I couldn't really get everything, but there's a lot here to really dive into as is. I really took the most important things that I think are really important for this. And there's one thing I have to say at the end of this video as well. So let's get straight into it. So starting with Eagles OTAs with the beat writers there, everything kind of getting reported. Now, we're going to start with Jalen Hurts. Obviously, like, not much a throwing aspect. They have the 7-on-7s today, but there was two good passes from Jalen Hurts today. One was to Quez Watkins. That connection, it seems like it's still there with Quez and working his tail off. A big bomb middle of the field to Quez Watkins was completed. Another pass to Dallas Goedert on like the edge of the sideline was another one that he had today. So two really good passes from Jalen Hurts. Like, we need to just relax. This is the first day. I understand people are going to be like, last year was the same. Every training camp, every OTAs is the same thing with fans, because people will flip out if Jalen Hurts is off target once or twice, or he's not completing a certain amount of passes or whatever. And there's people that actually write the stats down, which I don't mind. But like I said, this is an opportunity for everybody to really get better. And Quez Watkins, we don't know what's going on with the trade rumors, what's going on with him, but as of last year, obviously wasn't a great year, and trying to find out what this wide receiver 3 and at that position, but the depth at, wide receiver 3 is going to be. I mean, to be honest with you, there was a lot of tape on Zaccheaus that they ended up getting in that, that they ended up signing. He left the Falcons, had his best year with the Falcons last year with Marcus Mariota as quarterback, over 500 yards, I think 2 touchdowns, played very well. And from the video that we've seen from Zaccheaus, even at training camp, he looks really fast. If they keep Quez Watkins, there's no doubt in my mind they'll use Zaccheaus as well in this offense for slants, screen passes. He is just a burner. And I actually want to see this competition. Some fans feel like Quez and Zaccheaus aren't in any type of competition, that this is Quez's job to really win easily, but you never know at this point what could happen. And I'm rooting for this guy as well. But the connection between Jalen Hurts and Quez Watkins is pretty strong right now. And really the only receiver involved that really did a good job today. I mean, we're only reported what were reported during the day of Eagles OTAs. So for a start, that's pretty good. And like I said, wide receiver depth, the undrafted free agents. Once training camp comes, the undrafted free agents and all that great stuff. We'll find out a lot more about this wide receiver depth. But for Quez and Zaccheaus, it's going to be a very important training camp, very important OTAs right now, and I'm very excited for that. Now I want to go over the starting everything. From starting safety, starting linebacker, starting punt return depth. I want to go over all of that, just the list, and then kind of go over players from that. So your starting safeties were Terrell Edmunds, Reed Blankenship. Starting linebackers were Nikobe Dean and Nicholas Morrow as expected. Your punt return depth as of right now was Britton Covey, Greg Ward, Zaccheaus, and Quez Watkins. It's nice to see that Devontae Smith is not in the punt returns. Thank God, because we need him as a pure wide receiver, and that's it. But Alamide, if I'm saying his name wrong, I know people, you're saying his name wrong. I understand. Zaccheaus is going to be another one that I would definitely hope to expect that he's going to be a special teamer and, maybe could beat out Britton Covey. So if Alamide is not a pure starter at slot receiver, like I said, if the trade rumors are not true with Quez, and Quez is staying here as the number 3 guy, and the Eagles don't trade for, the Eagles don't sign Hopkins or whatever's going on right now, I think with Zaccheaus, I think Zaccheaus will be more of a, will be the backup role to Quez in that wide receiver 3, but will get his chance at special teams. Not much. I would like to see him at kick return as well. Hopefully, there was no list on the kick returns. Maybe they didn't do much of that today, but punt return wise, Greg Ward is another one, and I think we're kind of off that train of Greg Ward as of right now. So this was in order. It was Covey, Ward, Zaccheaus, and Quez. And Michael Clay's got to relax with, Britton Covey is a raw talent still, but has got to work on some things. But the blocking scheme for punt returns has to be better. It's not good enough. Greg Ward, I don't think if he still favors Greg Ward in this order over Zaccheaus and Quez, I don't know. I don't think Quez is going to be much of a punt returner either, but I think Zaccheaus should be the backup to Covey. Or if Zaccheaus could take Covey's spot, you never know what could happen there, because Covey, for all we know, could be on practice squad if Zaccheaus really shows up in the punt return game, which I really do like. Nicholas Morrow, Nikobe Dean, we have some news about the linebacker core that your guys are going to be really excited about. So that is pretty much the list for a few of the positions, in order that they've had from starting and who's been around. So now what the linebacker situation is going to be really interesting. Now, low-risk, high-reward move for Nicholas Morrow, 116 tackles for the Bears last year. A really bad defense for the Bears last year, or the worst team in the NFL last year, but at the same time, can cover, could shoot the gap really well, could blitz. He's and he's all over the field. Does a really good job with his tackling as well. Nikobe Dean, man, today Nikobe Dean. So the first thing that everybody's seen when Nikobe Dean was practicing, how physical he is, but not just that, on his helmet, he had a green dot on his helmet. Okay, now I never even knew about this because I've never heard of the green dot thing ever until it happened at Eagles OTAs. The green dot on Nikobe Dean's helmet means that he will be the play caller for the Philadelphia Eagles. He took a majority of the reps with the first team, all of the reps with the first team, calling the plays, calling the shots, you name it, he was there doing it. Even Nicholas Morrow at his press conference even said, it's going to be a big year for Nikobe Dean, and he's already learned a lot. And because he was in that room with Nick Rallis last year and the rest of the linebackers didn't really get a chance to start last year, but had a little bit of a nice sample size where he flashed so much, he was a sponge, and he didn't mind sitting in the room being a sponge. Obviously, he played special teams and stuff like that and got in on defense when he could, when the Eagles were up by multiple touchdowns. But the learning situation for him has just gotten better, and I think now Sean Desai really likes Nikobe Dean. So the green dot in his helmet means that he's calling the plays on defense, obviously, which means, defensive coordinators have 15 seconds between every play to talk to their green dot player. That would be wearing the microphone thing in their helmet to get the play call from the defensive coordinator to obviously give that play call to the rest of the players from the leader in Nikobe Dean. Nikobe Dean is going to be a field general. Like I said, I need to see a lot more, but from what I've heard from Eagles OTAs just from today, even with Nikobe Dean, people are like, man, he doesn't look undersized. He looks physical. He doesn't look as bad as everyone thinks. He is, because people complain about his size, but I think he just plays bigger than that. He's one of those linebackers where he just has really good, his tactic is really good. He's got good vision, especially when he blitzes the gap. Real physical. I like those linebackers that they're not hesitant. He goes on a total reaction with his eyes, and it's amazing. And we kind of already knew this, hence why they just went after Nicholas Morrow. They really didn't do much else at linebacker, even though maybe we need another body there. Maybe if they trade, if they want to trade for Patrick Queen or Isaiah Simmons, if they want to make that move. Because really, at the end of the day, we need to see what these two can do. And really the depth behind this linebacker core, behind these two guys, even though we don't know much, we don't know how Nicholas Morrow is really going to play. And Nikobe Dean, we're already kind of expecting him to play beyond expectation, very, very good. But we have to see it. And really behind that, you have, there's Kyron Johnson, there's Patrick Johnson as an outside linebacker. There's really not good depth. Davion Taylor, I think we're pretty much done with him at this point. I just don't think there's that much depth at linebacker, because if a guy goes down, there's really nothing there. And, Nikobe Dean is obviously is This is who he is, man. I mean, look, I'm really glad the Eagles are seeing this with Nikobe Dean. This was the plan going into this year, even from last year, that he was going to start this year. We all knew that. The coaching staff knew that. The ownership knew that. Howie Roseman knew that was going to happen with him. So I was really happy to see that they gave him the green dot, and he got all the first reps, all the reps of the first team defense. So I can't complain. So obviously this is only the first day, but more days to come. And I can't wait till joint practices when they got their full pads on and they're hitting each other. And we actually see some really crazy clips, which I'm pretty excited for. So that's the linebacker situation right now. And Nikobe Dean, man, I'm praying he works out so well. And I'm very happy for it. Now, Nolan Smith, man, today, Nolan Smith has gotten all the first team reps. Now, I didn't see a list of who he was lined up next to or if Hassan Reddick was on the other side, but most likely probably was. Nolan Smith had first team reps, second team reps, third team reps. The Eagles literally just tested him today. He was in, I mean, obviously they're not in full pads, they're not hitting. I get it. But they gave, Nolan Smith the majority of the reps for first, second, and third team for 3 teams. So they probably wore him out today. I just want to see more from him. I think, Nolan Smith, from his attitude and obviously him and his, getting together with Brandon Graham and being mentored by Graham and Hassan Reddick and getting that mentorship that he really needs and working on stuff that he needs to work on to get himself better, whether it's his pass rush, whether it's just, his ghost move, whatever the case may be. It's nice to see that, he's getting a lot of reps. And look, I already said this on a video a couple days ago. I kind of said, I feel like Nolan Smith is going to start. I think your outside defense, I think your defensive ends are going to be Hassan Reddick and Nolan Smith. The guy that he's compared to in the draft is going to be playing opposite side of him. So, like I said, the good news through all this today is that he got so many reps, and that's a good thing. It's a very, very good thing. So that's the gist on Nolan Smith as of right now. Not only, you have your starting safeties in Terrell Edmunds and Reed Blankenship. Reed Blankenship gave you a really nice sample size, but Sidney Brown, I don't think, I said this, Sidney Brown is going to make noise, and today when he got his chance, like I said, not full pads, but he was wrapping around. He was in every spot at the right time. He was tackling guys all over the field today at practice. Like I said, not full tackles, but he was wrapping up almost everybody. He was all over. There's already rumors about Eagles OTAs that somebody was saying, of one of the executives or one of the people that were sitting at Eagles camp, saying that Sidney Brown is looking like a Buda Baker out there. Like, he looked that good. I mean, I know in his conference, he was top 3, top 4 in his conference in pass coverage. Even at his Senior Bowl, I mean, what he did at his Senior Bowl was great. They put Sidney Brown to the test at the Senior Bowl. They were putting him against 4.3 speed receivers. He was knocking the ball out. Big tight ends, he was knocking the ball out. The Eagles looked at him as a red star player, and they only give a red star player out to one player every year. And if you were able to draft that red star of a player that could be a total steal, then, the red star is all about, he exemplifies on how to be a Philadelphia Eagle when it comes to his studies, when it comes to his play, his work ethic. This guy is a workaholic when it comes to football. And the Eagles got a one-of-a-kind type guy. As much as a lot of people thought they moved up too far to get him, I don't think they did. If the value is there at the position, and this is what they really needed, I think Sidney Brown is going to be a monster. I honestly do. I think Sidney Brown is going to be a Pro Bowler in the future. I think he's going to make a lot of noise this training camp. I think a lot of good things are going to happen. Because, look, Terrell Edmunds is a nice stopgap player for us. That was our plan B option when Chauncey, left. And I think the plan was to sign Chauncey long-term. Okay. But if we sign Chauncey long-term, then there'd be a different story. We have to do other things, it is what it is. Bradbury probably wouldn't have re-signed. Most likely, things would have changed a little bit. But now getting Sidney Brown and adding a few more additions to your safety group. Justin Evans, that's been hurt every year, but is a veteran that will get his chance as well. Can play nickel too. And like I said, Terrell Edmunds, signed with the Eagles when he was literally on the verge of signing some long-term extension with the Steelers. ended up coming to the Eagles because he loves the culture and loves the players around. And they were just in the Super Bowl last year, so who wouldn't want to join this team because the championship window is wide open for this team as of right now. But Sidney Brown all over the field, tackling everybody, is just, that's a good sign. Good sign in my book that he's making that much noise. There were so many tweets about Sidney Brown at Eagles OTAs and just working his tail off and just seeing just him all over the place, making tackles here, there. It was just nuts. Like I said, I think this is going to be really good. Like I said, this is only the first day, but got to give him more time. But, good things to hear right there. Good things to hear. Now, Jordan Davis is another, needs a really big, second year with the Eagles, had the high ankle sprain, played really good against the run. I think he was a top 13 defensive tackle against the run last year until he got hurt. And then, that's when they brought Linval Joseph and Sue in. And then when Jordan Davis came back, it is what it is. But, from what we've heard at Eagles OTAs as of right now is that Jordan Davis looks a lot more in shape. He looks more explosive. He looks more physical. And that's really all the news because we're not seeing that much until they get full pads on. But I think we already kind of noticed when Nolan Smith and Jalen Carter came to the Eagles NovaCare complex when they were getting their press conferences after they were drafted. Jordan Davis was there to meet both of them, and he looked like he lost a lot of weight. So I don't know how much he weighs right now. It could be the low 320s, high 320s, something 320 something like that. But from what all the beat writers were saying about Jordan Davis at Eagles OTAs just for the first day, well, not for the first day for him. Obviously, the team has been practicing, but the beat writers are here to obviously put the news out on what's going on. And it looks like Jordan Davis is in a lot better shape than we expected, and that's a good thing because, to be honest, guys, I don't put too much into first round picks in their first year. Really, it's the second year that really counts for me. Okay, that counter piece. Jordan Davis, I think, is the most really because the trenches are important. It starts in the trenches, especially on your defense. Okay. Jordan Davis is the most important piece to your defense. He's the one that takes on that double team. He's the one that frees up other players. This is the most important player for your defensive line. In my opinion, yes, he is the most important player. So, so look, just more days ahead for Jordan Davis and got to see more, but that's a really good start right now, especially when you're going to be playing next to, Jalen Carter. You're going to be playing with your ex-teammates and, your ex-teammates, but your teammates from college and, with all the rest of the guys coming, it should be a lot of excitement around with these Georgia players playing with each other and probably gives them a nice little jolt, a little bit more electricity in themselves to, play with these guys, and it's gonna be fun. Can't wait to see more from Jordan Davis. Now, the new punter. Please get this guy in this. I hope this guy makes his team. I swear to God. T.Y. Zentner, if I'm even Zentner, I think I'm saying his name right. I think. Pretty good today. His hang time was really good on some of his punts. He's a craft he's crafty as a punter. As much as people don't really care about the position, this is one of the positions where you don't kick middle of the field in the Super Bowl and the KC runs down to the the 10-yard line and we're already kind of done at that point, and don't want to have those mistakes again. As much as special teams is really important, but even Michael Clay said at his press conference a few weeks ago, he actually talked about this punter. Out of any other player, he talked about this punter. He was excited to work with him, and the leg, they call him Legatron for a reason. He kicks 60 something yards. It's absolutely insane. But he is a kicker and a punter, so you're getting more value from him in case Jake Elliott ends up messing up his leg or he messes up a kick or something like that. And he can come right in. He made 11 out of 11 field goals last year for Kansas. I think Kansas State is where he played. I'm not sure. But his punts are unbelievable. And hope he definitely makes a little bit of noise, which is pretty good. And finally, I forgot to put up the slide for it, but I just remembered two things. One is Cam Jurgens. Cam Jurgens did start at right guard today. No tylersteen, no nothing yet. We don't even know if they signed that 32-year-old offensive tackle on the left side. We're still trying to figure that out if they even signed him. I haven't heard any reports on it. But yes, Cam Jurgens has started next to Kelsey and Lane Johnson in between at right guard. So just the first day. Tylersteen will get his shot, and we'll see how this whole thing unveils at right guard as well. So that's the news on that. And then really going into the nickel corner position now, Avonte Maddox, Josh Jobe actually took some snaps with the first team today. They took Maddox out. I don't think it was injury or anything. I think they just took him out. They ended up putting Josh Jobe at nickel, and he actually played pretty well. I thought Jobe played good. So it was, I think it was, Josh Jobe took over. I think he took over for Slay. Josh Jobe took over for Slay. They had Bradbury and obviously Avonte Maddox in the nickel spot, and played pretty good. I guess they're just throwing in some other corners in there, and, he did a pretty good job on coverage today. Obviously, no pads, everything. You have to take all that into effect, but Zach McPherson took over at nickel when he moved over. So it was cool. So they try out some other cornerbacks. The corner room, yes, I think it's very exciting. You know what I mean? I think even having Eli Ricks, undrafted free agent, see what he could do. I think in time we'll see a little bit more from some of these guys. The back end at corner is going to be really interesting. Keely Ringo, are they going to cross-train him to safety and play corner at the same time? I hope they really do. So there's a lot here to dive into, man. A lot here to dive into. A big day. Those are the two things I missed. I just remembered that. I knew I was forgetting something when I was making this video, and I totally forgot the slide, so I do apologize for all of that. But that is the Eagles OTAs for the first day of, obviously being reported. It's been going on, but as the first day of being reported, looks pretty good. Jalen Hurts looks good. Nolan Smith getting a lot of reps. Nikobe Dean, it seems like they have high praise for him right now. Between Quez Watkins and Olamide Zaccheaus, wide receiver 3 is their competition. Is Quez going to get traded? I don't know. Jordan Davis losing some weight, looking more explosive out there, looks a lot faster, which is good. Sidney Brown making a lot of noise, making tackles all over the field, just being so fast, covering so much ground with his speed. It's just amazing. And obviously with Cam Jurgens at right guard starting as of right now. Josh Jobe getting a little bit of first team action, which is pretty cool. So I like to see what we have on the back end of this roster. Trust me, I would absolutely love it. So other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. If you guys definitely enjoyed this video and lasted this long, make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more Eagles updates every single day. We'll be covering every day of OTAs, every day of training camp when the time comes as reported. And we'll be ready to go. You guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you guys on the next one. SHAKESQUAD up, follows 5. Peace out, guys. Peace.